Morning everybody. 4th of November 2012, and been speaking to people, emailing friends, and Ged Dodd asked me about my Oliver Cromwell collection, or English Civil War. So I said I'd make a video and post it on YouTube. So I'm going to start down here. I've got quite a collection of things. Some of them are actually modern, but some of them are not so modern and from the period itself. So I'm going to start with coins. A lot of this stuff I bought on eBay. These are all, I think this is a half crown, Charles I half crown, hammered silver. These are all hammered silver. This is Charles I. I'm not sure if they're a shilling, and this one too, I'm not sure about that one. All the information's on the back. I've got everything on the back here written. I don't know if you can see that. No, it won't focus. I'm trying Jed's little idea about forcing it to focus, and it won't. So and I still need to get another camera. So anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and very small coins. I'm putting my finger there so you can get some idea of size. Look at that one, I can just cover that totally. But they're all Charles I, and I just wanted to own them because they're from that period. And then going on to buckles from the English Civil War. This one, I've just removed it from its thing, and it broke into 3 pieces, so not good. This one's still intact. Bought these on eBay, and I was told that they're 17th century, and that's why I bought them. And these are sword hangers that would hang on the belt at this point, and the sash for the sword would hang on that. So they're supposed to be English Civil War 2. Musket balls. I just wanted to own this stuff, and anything from the 17th century English Civil War, Oliver Cromwell interests me. So I bought these two, and a clay pipe that's supposed to be 17th century. I mean, but who really knows? So then going on to medallions. This I bought on eBay. Everything I bought on eBay. This is silver, and it's Oliver Cromwell commemorative death medal. So when he died, they made a medal, and I bought this from the USA, and I got quite for a good price. And I've since looked up this death medal and found that it's worth quite a bit of money, so I'm quite happy about that. And then I got 2 Ged Dodd. Ged Dodd was a guy who made medals of rulers, various rulers. He was around in the 1700s, and he made one of Oliver Cromwell, which I bought on eBay, and that's exactly the same one. I bought 2 because one was a good price. The other one was quite costly, but I wanted it, so I bought it. And then this is a commemorative medal called a Sentimental Magazine. There was a magazine called Sentimental Magazine, and they made a medal dedicated to Oliver Cromwell. Then going on to documents, I got this document, which is an actual document from a book of the period, which talks about King Charles I's speech in Parliament in 1640, of November 1640, and that's from an actual book from that period, which is relating the King's speech in his book. So I quite wanted this. I can't remember how much I paid for it. And then I bought a book, 17th century book. It was printed in 1660, and it talks about the Battle of Worcester in September 1651, which Cromwell had a very great victory there on the 3rd of September. He also had another great victory at Dunbar on the same date, I believe it was. And oddly enough, Oliver Cromwell died on this date as well. So that's quite a coincidence. 2 won battles and the date of his death. And then I'm just going to move a little bit further up the table, and then I've got a 17th century pewter plate, which I bought on eBay. Just anything 17th century just fascinates me. and so I buy this stuff. I know it's crazy, but it's just part of a collection that I wanted to get. And then I'm going to move on to not so old stuff, but relative to Oliver Cromwell, like this mouse mat. It's a mat for a mouse on a computer, rubber, and it's just Oliver Cromwell on it, a picture that I like. And then there's a teapot here, you can see, a very nice teapot. My wife saw this on eBay, so I'm going to move around here so you can get a better closer. The light's coming onto it there. And then you've got the parliamentarians on one side there, King Charles. Beautiful little thing, no damage to it. I really like that, just thought it was nice. And this pot, which is quite big, with a portrait of Oliver Cromwell on it. Nothing in it, I just wanted the pot because it got his portrait on it. Quite a well-known portrait, that one. I can't remember who did it now. This is stuff I've printed off myself. This is the death mask of Oliver Cromwell. So an actual photo of the actual death mask of Oliver Cromwell. So that's exactly what he looked like when he died. And you can see some sort of a wrapping round his head there. And just thought it was interesting to see that's what he actually looked like the moment after he died. Quite fascinating. And then coming down here, maybe the pictures are not so good, but this is an indenture vellum document, and it's dated 1640s, and I paid well over £100 for that. Just nice, lovely writing. I haven't really read it because the writing's a little difficult to read in the Old English style, and after about 2 or 3 lines you get bored. I just wanted the document, but there is some reference to either Parliament or Oliver Cromwell in this document, so I wanted it and I framed it. And then this is again a bought picture off eBay of quite a famous painting of Oliver Cromwell, and I rather liked it and I framed it and I like that. Then I bought an actual oil painting. That is there's basically the same pose, same picture, but this was painted in China, and it's in oils, and I really do need to get a very nice frame for that. It's in a crappy frame at the moment, and which I'm not really happy with. And then I'm coming on to this, which is a really important document, but not original. I wish it was, but no way can I afford the original document. This is the death warrant of Charles I, when he was sentenced to death. And you see the first name there is Bradshaw. He was the judge at the trial. Bradshaw, when he was during this trial, wore a steel lining in his hat and a breastplate because he was scared to death of being assassinated. And the third one is Oliver Cromwell. And if you come 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 9th is a guy named Henry Ireton, who actually comes from Nottingham, where I come from. And he actually married one of Cromwell's daughters, and he was said to be the man who put the bullets in the gun for Cromwell to fire, sort of thing. So it's quite important. And he actually died in Ireland of some disease, and after Charles's restoration, his body was dug up along with Cromwell's and Bradshaw, and they was pulled through the streets of London dead. Hung, drawn and quartered, and Cromwell's head was put on a spike, where it stayed there for quite a number of years, I don't know, 20 something years, and it blew off in a gale, and somebody picked up the head of Cromwell, and it wasn't a skeleton still, it still had skin on it because it was preserved, and hair. And then eventually down the line it finished up at one of the universities, either Cambridge or Oxford. I think it was Cambridge University, where they buried it secretly, because fear of retribution, even in this day and age. People want retribution on Cromwell for decimating the king, or the office of king. So that's quite an important document, which I paid a few quid for, but it's an old copy, so it will be quite accurate with regard to the original, so that's why I wanted that one. And here I bought again a copy of a letter by Oliver Cromwell, and I paid a few quid for this too, but there it is in his own handwriting, but copied obviously, and you can see that he wrote down here, and any space left on the paper he wrote then that way. And then there is a typed copy of the letter, which is in modern day English, so quite readable. So all these are framed. So, and then coming to the really important stuff now, original stuff that was probably in the English Civil War. If you see here, that's original, 17th century, and I bought that along with this. There is a 3-bar lobster tail helmet, a back and breastplate, and they're original. They cost me €5,000. That and that I bought as a set. And they cost me five grand. But they are original. It's an original 3-bar lobster tail. I don't know if you can see that. The light's really not very good in here for this, but let me come down maybe. The sword's not. That's mine. That was manufactured for me along with that breastplate and backplate and gorget. I don't know if you can see that properly. And that helmet, that was manufactured for me because I used to do the English Civil War battles, and of course I always liked the cavalry design, so I had the helmet, the 3-bar lobster tail helmet, and the back and breastplate as the cavalry used to dress, and the gorget. So I'll probably be selling that on eBay, because I'm just after originals now, and that is original, that. So the sword, that helmet there, 3-bar lobster tail, and that is not original. That's original, the helmet, back breastplate, and the arm guard. This is original. So I've got 3 helmets that's original from the 17th century, but it's missing its ear guards. I don't know if you noticed that. If I hadn't said anything, maybe you didn't, but that's a pikeman's 3-bar helmet, or so I was told, and I never thought that pikemen wore the 3-bar lobster tail, but there you go, that's what I was told when I bought it. I bought that privately from a collector, and I bought this privately from a collector, and I've just recently, my new acquisition on eBay is that one. Beautiful helmet. This was worn by the dragoons in Oliver Cromwell's time. The dragoons basically was horse mounted, and when they got to the actual battlefield they would dismount and fight on foot, mainly, not all the time, but you can see that's a beautiful helmet, and it's all one piece, and it's got that, the light's really bad here, it's got a hook there, which, because this actually opens up and that opens up that way, and it's a beautiful thing, very heavy. I'm not going to take these down, but that's original too, so probably used in the English Civil War, all these 3. And I'm on the lookout for more. I want a pikeman's helmet now, but I've got to save the money, so but the collection's really coming. That's my collection. I do like this. Even though it's not original, I like this because it just refers to the time in January of 1649 when the king was beheaded by Parliament, and on that day I read that it was quite a cold day, January 1649 it would be. On that day King Charles I asked for a second shirt because he knew it was cold, and if he trembled or shivered, he didn't want his enemies to think that he was shivering from fear. So he requested a second shirt so he could stay warm and not shiver on the long walk from where he was kept prisoner to Whitehall, where he was beheaded. And he went like a gentleman. They didn't have to drag him. They did put chains down and hooks and everything on the scaffold, because they had the feeling he would be struggling, and they would have to chain him and hold his hands down, but he didn't. He walked up to the scaffold. This is in the days of chivalry, and he put his head on the block, and they did it. But before they took his head off, he did go and speak, and said something to the reference, "I go now from a corruptible to an incorruptible crown, to everlasting peace." Just put his head on the block and asked the axeman, whose face was covered. Of course, he wanted to remain anonymous, because he was cutting off the head of the king. And so he did say to the axeman, he gave him some money and said, "Please allow me a little time to pray, and when I put my hands out, that will be the sign." And he put his hands out, and off came his head in one swift blow. And they held his head up and showed it to the crowd and said, "Behold the head of a traitor," because he was deemed a traitor, because he started a civil war in my home city of Nottingham on the 22nd of August 1642, which culminated 7 years later in his beheading. So that's my collection. That's everything I've got. Like I said, I'm on the lookout for more. If you guys have got anything, don't contact me yet. I've got no money. But if you've got anything relating to the Civil War, if I'm really interested in it, then contact me and I'll let you know. So that's everything. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's not been too long, I hope, too boring. So look forward to your comments, and I will get back to you when I start detecting again. I'm just waiting for some land coming up, and maybe I've got some other stuff to show you when I've got nothing to do. So take care, good hunting, and see you soon.